brass key slides into the front door, and I listen for the click in the morning chill. Shadows are stretching across the hardwood floor, while the rest of the neighborhood is sleeping still. I turn the deadbolt and push my way inside, letting the damp air settle in the quiet hall. A Tuesday morning with nothing left to hide, just the gentle ticking of the clock upon the wall. I pull the chairs down from the worn wooden tables and brush the dust from the window ledge, like a story waking up in old familiar fables. I step right up to the morning's edge. Oh, it's 7 in the morning rain, washing the gray streets clean again. The velvet bean is waking up slow, with a delicate rhythm and a soft warm glow. Every drop is a promise on the street outside, a gentle rhythm where the solitary hide. Let the water fall, let the day begin, with the 7 in the morning rain pouring in. I flip the open sign to face the avenue and turn the dim yellow lights on one by one. The sky above is painted in a slate gray hue, hiding the face of the early morning sun. I wipe the counters and arrange the display, listening to the quiet breath of the empty room, chasing the lingering midnight shadows away, before the sleepy-eyed regulars start to bloom. There's a peace in the quiet before the bell rings, a sanctuary found in the turning of locks, a steady comfort in the way the silence sings before the city wakes and walks. Oh, it's 7 in the morning rain, washing the gray streets clean again. The velvet bean is waking up slow. The first strum of the day is a clearing of the throat, finger-picked melody drifting through the air, finding the magic in a single sustained note, and leaving all the heavy weather out there. Let the umbrellas rush by on the pavement, we're building a shelter of melody and wood, a quiet kind of Tuesday salvation, right here in the heart of the neighborhood. Just the turning of the lock, just the ticking of the clock. 7 in the morning rain, falling down the window pane, waking up the room, waking up the room. Let the morning in.
copper dials shimmer in the low corner light as the water heats up in the belly of the beast. I measure out the grounds to get the balance just right, a humble little offering for a morning feast. The dark roasted beans give a comforting crack as the filter settles into its silvering. There's a subtle kind of magic that you just can't track when the water meets the earth and starts to sing. The espresso machine gives a soft waking hiss, a productive little hum that I know so well. It's a solitary moment I would never want to miss, caught inside this aromatic spell. First steam rising from a ceramic mug, floating on the air like a warm, slow hug. The day's very first pour in the palm of my hand, the most beautiful anchor in a busy land. A delicate cloud reaching up for the ceiling, bringing back that old familiar feeling. Close your eyes and take a sip of the dawn before the magic of the morning is gone. It's a heavy blue cup with a chip on the base that I pull from the rack when I need a little grounding. I carry it over to my favorite window space where the hush of the rain is the only thing sounding. The heat finds its way through the glaze in the clay and seeps right into my tired fingertips. It's the quietest prologue to a busy Tuesday, just waiting to be brought up to my lips. There are airy little vocals drifting from the speaker, a gentle acoustic melody to match the rising tide. When the world outside feels a little bit bleaker, you can find the summer hiding right inside. First steam rising from a ceramic mug, floating on the air like a warm, slow hug. The day's very first pour in the palm of my hand, the most beautiful anchor. It's just water and beans, just fire and time, but it weaves all the wandering strangers together. A simple concoction, a rhythm, a rhyme, a gentle defense against the autumn weather. The vapor dances in the light from the street, a momentary ghost that whispers and fades, making the quiet of the morning complete in the comfort of the sanctuary we've made. First steam rising, first steam rising, first steam rising. Breathe it in, let it in, let it out. No more rushing, no more doubt. Just the first steam floating high, a warm hello, a soft sigh in a ceramic mug, heavy and true. The morning is waiting here for you. I'm sitting by the glass with a notebook in my lap, watching the city hold its breath in the gray. The traffic light turns, blinking like a trap for the cars that are splashing their busy lives away. But here on this side of the water streaked view, the tempo is measured, the atmosphere is still. I'm tracing the lines of the raindrops anew as they gather and race to the wooden sill. The street lamps reflect in the puddles below, shimmering silver in the cool, damp air. It's a quiet exhibition, a cinematic show, and I'm the only audience in this corner chair, singing a window Windowpane lullaby, watching the clouds roll through the sky. Husbanded harmonies soft and deep, while the rest of the avenue goes back to sleep. Raindrops sliding down the glass in time to a gentle acoustic fingerpicked rhyme. The world outside is a storm passing by, but I'm safe in the windowpane lullaby. An umbrella hurries past a sudden burst of red against the monotone canvas of the morning street. A businessman running with a newspaper on his head, trying to escape the sudden watery defeat. But I strum a slow chord and let the sound decay, watching the water wash the dust from the stone, finding the beauty in a muted rainy day, where you can sit in a crowd and be perfectly alone. The condensation builds on the inside of the pane, a foggy little curtain keeping out the cold. I draw a little circle and watch it fade again, a temporary story waiting to be told. There's a rhythm in the falling and tempo in the shower, a natural metronome tapping on the roof. I could sit right here for another quiet hour, wrapped in this melody, completely aloof. The gray of the morning isn't sad to me at all. It's a blank page waiting for a splash of light, a hushed sweeping curtain beginning to fall, making the corners of the cafe feel bright. Slide down the glass, fall to the street, a gentle little rhythm where the rain and window meet. Hush now, quiet down, let the water fall, a windowpane lullaby, softly calling us all. Just watching the gray fading away.
There's a vintage Parlor guitar resting on the stand, found in an attic underneath a sheet of dust. Now it sits in the corner, waiting for a hand to wake up the wood and brush away the rust. I step across the room to turn the music low, and the ground beneath my feet begins to gently speak, a symphony of timbre that the regulars know, a comforting, familiar and rhythmic little creek. The early arrivals are shaking off their coats, stomping their boots by the heavy iron door. And the cafe answers back with its own wooden notes, a conversation rising from the worn-out floor. Oh, the creaking floorboards keeping the beat, a welcome sound for the weary feet. Every step is a lyric, every walk is a song in this living room space where we all belong. Echoing through the warm and empty space, setting the tempo for the human race. A gentle resonance we can't ignore, the heartbeat hiding in the creaking floor. A patron walks up to the counter for a brew. Her footsteps light, but the board's still groan. It's an old building singing, breaking in the news, making sure nobody has to walk alone. I pick up the guitar and pluck the lower E, and the vibration settles deep into the grain. It's a duet between the architecture and me, a harmony to counter the tapping of the rain. We're wearing down the finish, one Tuesday at a time, leaving invisible footprints in the varnished pine. But the wearing is the beauty, the aging is the rhyme, a vintage aesthetic by intelligent design. Oh, the creaking floorboards keeping the beat, a welcome sound for the weary feet. Every step is a lyric, every walk is a song in this living room space where we all belong. If walls could talk, they'd tell 1,000 tales, but the floors, oh the floors, they would sing the blues. They felt the heavy sorrow when everything fails, and the tap dancing joy of the very best news. They hold us all up when we're sinking in the grave. They give us a stage when we need to be seen. They measure out the pacing of a quiet rainy day, right here in the heart of the velvet bean. Step by step, chord by chord, the music is written on the wooden board. Hear it groan, hear it sigh, a beautiful sound as the morning goes by. Creaking floorboards, welcome home. Welcome home. A heavy canvas backpack drops by the velvet chair. A damp wool sweater hangs upon the iron hook. A student runs a hand through disheveled morning hair and opens up the cover of a spiral-bound notebook. The textbook sits ignored on the corner of the wood, while the pencil is sharpened to a needlepoint tip. There are formulas and dates to be understood, but the mind is embarking on a different kind of trip. A steady rhythm picking follows a scratching sound as the graphite finds its way across the empty page, building little universes safely off the ground, trapped inside a lined-in paper cage. Margins and graphite shading in the lines, sketching out the daydreams and intricate designs. designs while the espresso machine hums a quiet tune. The morning is drifting, making way for afternoon. Lost inside the scribbles, erasing the mistakes, finding out the shapes that a wander mind makes. A solitary focus in the cafe's warm light, a world being built in margins and graphite. There's a doodle of a coffee cup with steam curling high, a portrait of a stranger sitting 2 tables away, a detailed little feather from a bird up in the sky, a quiet rebellion against the rigorous day. The eraser rubs a hole, trying to fix a heavy stroke, blowing the gray dust away with a gentle little breath. A masterpiece created that will quickly go up in smoke, or be closed in a binder and sentenced to death. But the beauty is the action, the scratching on the sheet, the rhythmic little fiction of the lead upon the grain. It syncs up with the acoustic pop, keeping on the beat, a quiet meditation to accompany the rain. Margins and graphite, shading in the lines, sketching out the daydreams and intricate designs while the espresso machine hums a quiet tune. The morning is drifting, making way for afternoon. All those empty white spaces calling out to be filled with vines and stars and geometric shapes, a quiet restless energy that cannot be stilled, a paper sanctuary where the busy soul escapes. The parlor guitar finger picks a running melody to match the restless motion of the student's busy hand, creating an invisible sweet symphony in a language that only the dreamers understand. Margins and graphite, margins and graphite, margins and graphite. Margins and graphite. Scratch, scratch, shade and draw the most beautiful world that nobody saw. Close the book, pack the bag, let the graphite fade, let the daydreams lag, but leave a little piece behind in the margins of the mind. The little bell chimes, they walk in side by side. He holds the wooden door, and she shakes her umbrella dry. There's a comfort in their posture that they cannot hide, and a map of many decades softly etched around the eye. They make their way to the table by the furthest wall, the one with the wobbly leg they know how to fix. He folds a paper napkin so the coffee doesn't fall, a ritual of mornings they've perfected since '86. I bring them over 2 dark roasts and 1 warm pastry, set right in the middle on a small ceramic plate. They nod their gentle thanks, a quiet sort of mastery of 2 people entirely comfortable with their fate. Just a silent, knowing smile across the wooden space, a tender understanding glowing softly on her face. They don't need to fill the air with 100 empty words. Their
the loudest ever heard, breaking off a piece of the morning sweet design, a tapestry of years, incredibly fine. The world is rushing past them, mile after mile, but they anchor it all down with a silent, knowing smile. She slides the sugar packet right across the grain. He tears the paper top and pours it in her cup. They look out the window at the rhythm of the rain and wait for the dark brew to finally warm them up. He reaches for the pastry and breaks it right in two, leaving the larger half resting on her side. A microscopic gesture, beautiful and true, a testament of devotion, standing deep and wide. Male and female harmonies weaving in the air, from the vintage guitar playing softly in the room, mirroring the beauty of the elderly pair who found a way to make the autumn flowers bloom. Just a silent, knowing smile across the wooden space, a tender understanding glowing softly on her face. They don't need to fill the air with 100 empty words. Their love is in the quiet, the loudest ever heard. Young lovers in the corner, talking up a storm, trying to prove their passion, trying to leave a mark. But real love is a fireplace, steady, low and warm, burning quietly through the winter and the dark. A brush of the knuckles, a glance across the rim, a lifetime of memories resting in the glance. She sees the boy in him, he sees the girl in her, still dancing to the music of an endless, quiet day. Not a single word spoken, not a single promise broken, just the sharing of the bread and the things that are left unsaid. A silent, knowing smile. I'll sit with you a while. Headphones resting on the collar of a coat, a blinking cursor waiting for a sudden note. The window shows a world of water, gray and blurred, but inside here the turning gears are all that's heard. A screen is glowing in the corner by the till. The remote worker settles in and finds the still. There is a tempo in the tamping of the grounds, a subtle bass line hidden in the daily sounds. Caught up in the rhythm of the machine, the hissing steam, the pouring of the velvet bean. It's driving, steady heartbeat, Fingers flying on the keyboard, making time to the acoustic strum and the silver grinders whine. We are working in the rhythm of the machine, somewhere safe between the awake and the dream. The barista knocks the portafilter on the bar. It syncs up perfectly with the parlor guitar. A double shot of comfort in a paper cup. The morning moves along, but no one's rushing up. The spreadsheet rows become a canvas in the mind, leaving the roaring of the avenue behind. With every press of buttons, every gentle hiss, there is a strange and modern melody to this. Caught up in the rhythm of the machine, the hissing steam, the pouring of the velvet bean. It's a drive-in, steady heartbeat in a minor key, a quiet kind of focus washing over me. And when the flow state takes you, the whole cafe just fades to a hum. A productive, peaceful shelter beneath the rolling of the worker's thumb. It's the invisible metronome of the 9 to 5, keeping these wandering minds alive. Caught up in the rhythm of the machine, the hissing steam, the pouring of the velvet bean. It's a driving, steady heartbeat in a minor key, a quiet kind of focus washing over me. Just a subdued beat on a rainy street. The espresso maker sighs and the minutes fly. Rhythm of the machine, down at the velvet bean.
I don't know the girl with the Earl Grey tea, and the man by the door doesn't look at me. But we share the warmth of the same brick wall, and we listen to the same rain softly fall. There's a comfort in the silence we provide, a collective breath on the inside. No one's asking where you've been or where you'll go. We're just watching the morning move slow. We are living room strangers in a public place, finding a private sanctuary in a shared space, tied together by the interlocking melodies and the quiet grace of our separate histories. You take your corner and I'll take mine. We don't need to talk to intertwine, just living room strangers out of the rain, riding the chords of a sweet refrain. The vintage floorboards creak beneath my chair, a solitary patron breathing in the roasted air. I see the student pausing with their pen before they dive into their paper world again. We are satellites orbiting a wooden room, sweeping away the Tuesday gloom. An invisible thread from my table to yours, woven by the acoustic
acoustic pop that pours. We are living room strangers in a public place, finding a private sanctuary in a shared space, tied together by the interlocking melodies and the quiet grace of our separate histories. Sometimes the loneliest feeling is being the only one in a crowd, but here at the Velvet Bean, the silence speaks aloud. We are alone together, side by side, with nothing to prove and nothing to hide. Just friends we haven't met, drinking down the morning we won't soon forget. A nod of the head, a glance over the mud, wrapped up in a momentary invisible hug.
The drops are coming down a little harder now, beating the drum on the cafe's wooden brow. The gray street washes into watercolor streams, but in here we're brightly building up our dreams. I strike a lighter chord upon the parlor steel to balance out the heavy way the storm clouds feel. Every strum wraps around the shoulders of the room, chasing out the final hints of shadow and of gloom. We are weaving Tuesday's tapestry, with every sip of coffee and every memory, a slightly brighter rhythm for the rainy day, keeping the bitter chill of the world at bay. The old couple smiling, the student in the back. It's a masterpiece painted on a gentle track, woven together at the Velvet Bean, the warmest little picture that you've ever seen. There's gold in the crema of the espresso pour, and silver in the bell that hangs upon the door. The threads are pulling tighter as the hours pass, reflecting in the steam upon the window glass. The guy on his laptop taps a steady beat, a counter melody to the rushing of the street. I changed the picking pattern to a major key to celebrate this lovely, quiet company. We are weaving Tuesday's tapestry, with every sip of coffee and every memory, a slightly brighter rhythm for the rainy day, keeping the bitter chill of the world at bay. Stitch by stitch, note by note, we are keeping this little wooden ship afloat. The harmonies rise in the center of the fray. We are making art out of a Tuesday. Yeah, the mundane is beautiful when you look real close. It's the simple, steady things that matter the most. We are weaving Tuesday's tapestry, so let it rain, let it pour. We've got everything we need behind this door. Tuesday's tapestry, hanging in the air. There's magic in the corner chair. proprietor stood at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at a lifetime of forgotten wares. A dim-lit attic smelling of cedar and of pine, a treasure hunt for a past left far behind. He moved the heavy boxes and the winter coats, searching for a vessel that could carry some notes. And there in the corner, sleeping in the dark, lay the weathered wood that would light the spark. He wiped the dust off the parlor guitar, 6 rusty strings stretching out like a scar. A bare bones melody waiting in the wood, hoping to be held, hoping to be understood. It was the soul of the velvet beam waiting to be found, a nostalgic piece of timber in a sleepy town. He turned the tuning pegs and strummed a single chord, and a piece of his history was finally restored. The fretboard was worn from a previous hand, singing songs of the road and a distant land. He brought it downstairs to the empty cafe floor, before the sign was even hung upon the door. He sat by the window where the light spilled through, and played the only quiet lullaby he knew. It sounded like coming home, it sounded like a friend, a beautiful beginning from a dusty end. He wiped the dust off the parlor guitar, 6 rusty strings stretching out like a scar. A bare bones melody waiting in the wood, hoping to be held, hoping to be understood. Now it hangs on the wall or sits upon a knee, the anchor of this acoustic sanctuary. From an attic in the shadows to the center of the room, chasing off the silence, cutting through the gloom. Every scratch on its surface has a story to tell, ringing out clear like a morning bell. He wiped the dust off the parlor guitar, 6 rusty strings stretching out like a scar. Found in the dark, brought to the light, making the rainy Tuesday right. Dust on the parlor guitar. The proprietor sweeps the porch in the early dawn, before the rushing of the modern world is truly on. down the avenue at the doors and the blinds, thinking of the wandering souls that the city grinds. He wanted a haven, a beacon on the block, a place where the lonely could safely dock. So he opened the doors and he brewed the first roast and invited the neighbors he cherished the most. We're singing songs for the neighborhood, doing what we can, doing what we should, turning a corner cafe into a resting place where every weary wanderer finds a little grace. Let the harmonies rise, let the chorus swell, the velvet bean is a wishing well. We're singing songs for the neighborhood today. Come on in from the rain, you can stay. A postman steps in to shake off the chill, a nurse coming off of the midnight ship thrill. They gather round the warmth of the acoustic sound, planting their tired feet on solid ground. Male and female voices start to gently blend, a communal chorus on which you can depend. It's more than just a public shop on the street, it's a private sanctuary where our lives can meet. We're singing songs for the neighborhood, doing what we can, doing what we should, turning a corner cafe into a resting place where every weary wanderer finds a little grace. When the world gets heavy and the skies are gray and you feel like you've lost your way, just follow the sound of the parlor guitar. You don't have to travel very far. We've got a mug with your name and a chair in the back. We'll help you get your spirit back on track. Songs for the street, songs for the square, for the remote worker and the couple over there. A chorus of neighbors, a chorus of friends, where the comfort starts and the rushing ends. Lunch rush has faded, the plates are cleared away. We've reached the quiet center of the rainy Tuesday. The clock on the wall strikes a lazy 2:30. The espresso machine rests and the sky is a muted blue. The tempo pulls back to a hypnotic, steady groove. There is nowhere to be, there is nothing to prove. Just a soft, quiet focus in a cozy corner chair. A peaceful midday magic suspended in the air. Oh, the midday stillness settles on the floor like a heavy warm blanket just inside the door. The acoustic guitar finds a gentle rolling pace, matching the productive silence of the space. We are lost in the midday stillness of the mind, leaving the hectic gets to run, even without the shining of the sun. The margins of the notebook are completely filled with art. The student breathes out softly, resting their heart. The remote worker closes the laptop with a sigh, watching the slow afternoon traffic rolling by. I trace a finger-picked pattern that spirals and descends, a meditative circle that beautifully suspends the quiet hum of life, a life so well spent, breathing in the roasted familiar coffee scent. Oh, the midday stillness settles on the floor like a heavy warm blanket just inside the door. It's the hour of daydreams, the hour of rest. The quietest moments are often the best. No urgency calling, no alarms left to ring, just the wooden resonance that the parlor guitar brings. You can close your eyes for a second or two. The sanctuary's walls are watching over you. The midday stillness, just stillness. Just the steady pulse of a quiet room. The shadows stretch, the afternoon leans in a hypnotic groove. Heavy gray morning begins to divide as the weather surrenders the quiet outside. The rhythm of raindrops slows down on the glass, and the shadows that gathered are starting to pass. The espresso machine gives a lighter reply to the shifting of clouds in the Tuesday sky. We look up from our screens and our half-empty cups as the mood of the corner cafe slowly looks up. Oh, the light through the curtains, a sudden embrace, a bright golden warmth spilling into the space. It dances on dust motes that float in the air and lands on the back of a corner booth chair. Here at the velvet beam, weather may turn, but the light through the curtains is a comfort we learn. A hopeful acoustic, a strum of the sun, reminding us all that the morning's not done. The proprietor pauses, a cloth in his hand, as the sudden illumination sweeps over the land. He reaches right out for the vintage guitar, leaning quiet and patient behind the oak bar. A finger-picked melody, bright as the beam, wakes up the sleepers and colors the dream. The faces around me are bathed in a glow
the shadows below. It's only a moment, a break in the storm, but it's enough just to keep us all warm. Male and female harmonies rise to the rafters, chasing the sunlight with quieted laughter. The major chords ring from the weathered wood frets, washing away all our rainy regrets. Golden beams on the floorboards, a shift in the air, sunlight through the curtains. We're lingering there, fingerpicked promises, bright and serene, caught in the window of the velvet beam. Fade out the storm, let the major chords ring. Just let the light in and see what it brings.
There's a story wrapped up in the grain of the wood of a dusty old attic where nobody stood, till the proprietor climbed up the creaking old stairs and found a sweet parlor guitar waiting there. He wiped off the cobwebs, he tightened the strings, and discovered the magic that old timber brings. Now it hangs on the wall like a friend we all know, watching the neighborhood ebb and the flow. These are warm acoustic memories played in the round, tying our hearts to the comfort of sound. A living room built out of coffee and grace, where wandering souls find a familiar face. Through the hum of the grinder, the steam and the beam, we're writing the story of the velvet beam. With every soft chorus and finger-picked line, we're freezing a warm worker taps to a 6/8 beat, while the rain puddles shimmer outside on the street. We are strangers connected by invisible threads, by the melodies floating just over our heads. He strums a soft progression, tender and slow. A harmony rises, a soft undertow. A duet of voices, a boy and a girl, creating a shelter away from the world. These are warm acoustic memories played in the round, tying our hearts to the comfort of sound. A living room built out of coffee and grace, a wandering soul. It's more than a cafe, it's more than a brew. It's the quiet acceptance of me and of you. It's the history humming inside of the fret. It's the kindness of strangers we haven't met yet. An heirloom of music, unpolished and bare, that tells us we're safe when we pull up a chair. These are warm acoustic memories lingering on long after the rain and the morning have gone. A vintage guitar and a quiet refrain, calling us back to this corner again, humming together a soft harmony. This is our home. This is our memory.
Clock edges past the quiet of 3. The tempo relaxes for you and for me. The frantic commuting has lost all its rush, and the corner cafe settles into a hush. The shadows are lengthening over the floor, reaching like fingers away from the door. The steam from the mugs doesn't rise quite as high as the afternoon sun starts to slip from the sky. In the fading afternoon light, we take a deep breath, slowing our racing, avoiding the fret. The worn wooden tables look amber and gold as the stories of Tuesday begin to unfold at the velvet beat. As the daytime recedes, we find the slow rhythm our tired soul needs. A mellow, soft harmony drifting from sight, wrapped in the fading afternoon light. The student has closed up her notebook of dreams. The sunlight is resting in parallel beams. The espresso machine gives a comforting purr as the edges of Tuesday begin to just blur. A delicate fingerpick dances along the tail end of daylight, the end of the song. We're holding our mugs with a gentle embrace, enjoying the stillness that covers the space. In the fading afternoon light, we take a deep breath, slowing our racing, avoiding the fret. The worn wooden tables look amber and gold as the stories of Tuesday begin to unfold. The proprietor smiles as he gathers a cup. He knows that the street lamps will soon flicker up. The vintage guitar rests quiet and still as the evening approaches. A chill on the sill, but in here it is cozy. The air remains sweet, a haven of rest on a darkening street. In the fading afternoon light, whisper of tone. Here in the twilight, we're never alone. Fading light, fading day, the velvet beam washes the worry away. Hold on to the glow, hold on to the sight of the beautiful fading afternoon light.
There's a sign on the window that faces the street, a public address where the busy folks meet. But under the surface, behind the glass pane, there's a secret we share while we're dodging the rain.
The door chimes a greeting, you step off the and suddenly leave all the chaos behind. The chatter becomes a soft blending choir, and the warmth in the room is a slow burning fire. This is our private sanctuary, hidden in plain sight,
a fortress of coffee,
of shadow and light,
where overlapping voices build walls made of peace,
and the rush of the outside is forced to a cease.
It's a living room claimed by the lost and the found, by the vintage guitar
and its comforting sound.
The velvet beam holds us unbroken and free,
our shared little private sanctuary.
The regulars nod as they take their same chairs,
leaving their titles and leaving their cares.
The remote worker unplugs,
just watching the room,
while the elderly couple chases away the gloom.
Male and female harmony softly entwine,
a tapestry woven by brilliant design.
The proprietor brews a magical cure, making the atmosphere steady and pure. This is our private sanctuary, hidden in plain sight,
A fortress of coffee,
of shadow and light.
we don't need to speak,
We don't need to explain,
we just sit and we listen to the Tuesday rain.
in this corner cafe
We have built a retreat,
a personal haven
above the gray street.
This is our private sanctuary,
our quiet escape,
taking whatever acoustic soft shape.
Voices overlapping,
A chord in the air,
you can be yourself.
when you pull up a chair.
A sanctuary for you,
A sanctuary for me,
safe in the walls
of the velvet beam. Close your eyes, find the key.
Welcome to our sanctuary. No fireworks lighting the evening sky, no mountains to conquer, no limits to fly. Just a ceramic mug on a water-stained ring, and the way that a worn-out acoustic can sing. A napkin is folded, a teaspoon is stirred, a comfortable silence replaces a word. We're taught to chase glory and look for the grand, but the magic is right here, right in my hand. Oh, the beauty of the mundane, the simple and small, the quiet routine that catches us all. A sip of dark roast, a glance at the street, the shuffle of tired familiar feet. At the velvet bean, we don't need a parade. We find our gold in the coffee we've made, and stripped down acoustics and uncomplicated rain. We're in love with the beauty of the mundane. The proprietor sweeps up the dust near the door, a rhythmic and soft, gentle brush on the floor. The espresso machine gets a wipe with a rag as the afternoon hours just pleasantly drag. I'm watching the cars flash their lights in the gray. I'm perfectly happy with nothing to say. A tender duet hums a melody low about letting the heavy things finally go. Sometimes the world spins a little too fast. We're desperate for moments we're hoping will last, but the longest of shadows and sweetest of tunes are found in the ordinary afternoons. Just picking a string, just pouring a cup. You don't have to climb just to know you are up. So just a Tuesday, just a song, nothing right and nothing wrong. Simple chords, a quiet space, the easiest smile on a stranger's face. The beauty of nothing, the beauty of all. The parlor guitar on the cafe wall, stripped down to the roots, acoustic and plain. The beautiful, beautiful, quiet mundane.
Last of the daylight retreats from the glass. The Tuesday we lived in is starting to pass. The mugs have been cleared and the counter wiped down. A peacefulness settles all over the town. The proprietor reaches to turn the front sign from open to closed at the end of the line. He powers down the espresso machine for the night and clicks off the glow of the overhead light, and the lingering chords of a day well spent echo softly around everywhere that we went. A steady slow pulse of contentment and grace wraps its arms round this corner cafe space. From the 7 a.m. to the darkening sky, we watch the whole beautiful world wander by. The velvet beam closes, the curtains are drawn, but the warmth in our chests will carry on. The vintage guitar goes back into its case, resting its wood in a velvet-lined space. The floorboards give out one last creak in the dark, leaving behind a quiet, invisible mark. The male and the female harmonies blend into a hum as the evening descends. We button our coats and we step in the chill, leaving the sanctuary perfectly still. And the lingering chords of a day well spent echo softly around everywhere that we went. A steady slow pulse of contentment and grace wraps its arms round this corner cafe space. Tomorrow the key will unlock the front door, and the rain might just tap on the window once more. The steam will rise up from a fresh coffee pour, and we'll live out the songs like we did just before. But tonight we are full, tonight we are whole. A quiet acoustic pop, rest for the soul. The lingering chords of a pavement walking away, a lovely conclusion to a beautiful day. The vintage guitar sleeps, the espresso is still. The rain has stopped falling on the windowsill. A day well spent, a melody made. Let the final acoustic progression fade. Good night to the strangers, good night to the beam. The quietest piece that we've ever seen.